This is Feed Your Mind. So planets are not what we were told. You see, most people on this earth believe that Earth is a planet. So they equate what they see in the sky with Earth. And they believe that these planets in the sky are also solid objects revolving around the sun. And Earth is just one of 9 planets revolving around the sun in perfect rotation. But then later on, science said, well, Pluto's probably not a planet. And if you look into why, they'll say it's too small and stuff like that. But really, it's because Pluto is simply a star in the sky, just like the other 8 planets. But really, if you remove Earth, then you're left with 7 planets. So the reason why people are equating planets with solid objects is because of these false images that NASA will present. But when you look into these images that they present of these planets, you find out that these are CGI images. Even the small print will admit this. So people need to realize that they have been steered into believing that planets are solid objects when they actually are not. Even science will admit that several other planets are actually gas giants and not solid objects. So for people to equate planets with Earth is a false belief. If you take images of planets with your own devices, all you see is something similar to a star in the sky. Another reason why people might think that planets are solid objects is because they look at the moon and it appears to be a physical object. So people will assume that planets are physical objects as well. Also, when you look into the alleged moon landings, you'll see that, oh, well, it actually looks like they never went there. And people think that they have moon rocks, but really it turns out that those moon rocks were basically just petrified pieces of wood and not actually moon rocks. You would think a moon rock would be shiny and very reflective and a very interesting piece of rock, but really it's just a dull piece of wood. So planets are definitely not what we were told. The scientists will keep saying that they're looking for water on the moon and Mars and stuff like that. So people believe in this stuff, and they'll even show people images of Mars, and so they'll say that they have this rover up there that they're controlling like a remote control car. Somehow they have this signal strong enough to move a drone on Mars, and they'll even have sometimes some type of flying drone up there somehow pushing against the thin atmosphere. So people eat this up, and they believe that we have actually confirmed that Mars is a solid object. But then it turns out that there's evidence that most of the Mars images are actually filmed on Earth. Once you look into it, you'll find more and more information where you can see that even on a Google Earth image capture, people have found NASA rovers in a desert filming what looks to be like Mars.
So I keep digging a little bit deeper, and I finally get underneath this cloud cover here, and a few images pop up. And I say, oh, images, what are they? Well, this is what you got, which I'm sure that looks familiar to you, right? Looks just like the pictures they give us of Mars. So I'm just kind of creeping around here and definitely noticing the same kind of undulation changes and same kind of rock, same kind of dirt. Only thing that's missing is that nice little red tint that they pay somebody $150,000 a year to put on there. Is that right? Whose orange Hummer is this? Okay, that looks like a NASA symbol. Well, let's dig a little further because I can't really see anything on here other than it certainly looks like a NASA symbol. And I can't read that. Tried. Cameras set up, tents, ATVs, food. They've been there a while. It's not a one-day trip. Got their antennas set up out in the middle of nowhere in Greenland. Another ATV. A leveler equipment. So I'll keep kind of going through here and see if it... What the... Yeah. So. I think I found out where Mars is, guys. It's just about 1,000 miles north of me. Not quite the distance that NASA says. But I can't find anybody who's in charge of this. They must be hiding behind these rocks. Oh no, there they are out in front of everybody. Just standing there. Lovely. Clown number 1, clown number 2, and clown number 3. This thing's just driving around taking pictures. Unbelievable. Actually, if you ask me, it's quite believable. But what do you think? Are they sending scientists up on ATVs to practice on the rover in a remote island in Greenland? I doubt that highly. But I did see something cool on the site. You could send Curiosity a postcard. And so I was like, sweet.
With Curiosity, we land in something that actually looks very Mars-like, but it also looks Earth-like with those mountains in the background there, these deeply dissected pyramidal mountain ranges, and it just looks a lot like what you see out in the Mojave Desert. It's really cool. And so it kind of makes you feel at home.
Curiosity's primary mission is to search for signs of life on the planet most similar to Earth.
And that's where it gets pretty interesting, because I came across some information about the so-called 7 planets in the sky, and people have all the evidence they need right in front of their face, because all of these planets are named after pagan entities, and that should raise some red flags, you would think, and that should start to kind of wake people up to wonder, why are all of these planets named after pagan gods like Jupiter, Neptune, Pluto, Mars, and all these other planets? They're all named after pagan entities. And why is that? And not only that, but these so-called planets are said to be revolving around the sun, which is a form of sun worship. These so-called planets, including Earth, they're saying is revolving around Helios, the sun god. So this is what people have come to believe in this modern time. But really, it looks like all of these so-called planets and the stars are revolving around a North Polaris center point. And we're going to get into what this North Polaris really is in another video, so stay tuned for that. And so in the book of Enoch, we see that they are calling these planets wandering stars. And I found this in the book of the Watchers, which is one of the books of Enoch. And so with the book of Enoch calling planets wandering stars, it also goes on to say that there are 7 of them. And like we said earlier, if you remove Earth and Pluto as a planet, even science will have to admit that there are 7 so-called planets, or as the book of Enoch calls them, wandering stars. And it describes why they are called wandering stars. And it says basically these 7 wandering stars are put into a place lower than the other stars, where they are put there as a prison because they did not follow their assigned course that they were supposed to arrive at. Like the other stars are fixed and moving around in a specific course around the North Polaris. So the wandering stars are now kicked out of that area and put into a prison or a lower level of the firmament above, where we can see them still up there, but they're not with the other stars. It actually looks like they're much closer to the Earth than the other stars. And like I said, with these so-called wandering stars being named after pagan entities, I find it interesting that a lot of these movies might suggest that you could wish upon a star, and they want you to communicate with these stars, and that seems to be more evidence that the people behind the scenes know exactly what these planets actually are. It sounds like they're the followers. So I'm going to play a clip from the book of Enoch where it goes into detail about what these planets might actually be. And so here it is.
I saw a place which had no firmament of the heaven above, and no firmly founded earth beneath it. There was no water upon it, and no birds, but it was a waste and horrible place. I saw there 7 stars, like great burning mountains, and to me, when I inquired regarding them, the angel said, "This place is the end of heaven and earth. This has become a prison for the stars and the host of heaven. And the stars which roll over the fire are they which have transgressed the commandment of the Lord in the beginning of their rising, because they did not come forth at their appointed times. And he was wroth with them, and bound them till the time when their guilt should be consummated, even for 10,000 years."
And so that sounds a lot to me like they're talking about the so-called planets, because it says 7 wandering stars. And like I said, with Pluto being removed as a planet and Earth not being a planet, but instead a realm or physical location, or you can call it like a plane of existence or something like that. But basically Earth is not a planet. Just because you see things in the sky doesn't mean that's what Earth is. So that leaves 7 so-called planets. And that's what the book of Enoch was saying, that there was 7 stars that was sentenced to a different portion of the firmament at the ends of the earth, it kind of called it, where it sounds like he's talking about the 7 wandering stars above as 7 wandering stars that fill out a place out of its fixed path and sentenced to an area where it's going to be judged eventually, where these 7 planets will remain until its appointed time when they are to be punished for falling out of course. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And so check out my playlist, Planets Are Not What You Were Told. For much more information, I'll leave the link in the comment section in the description box. Visit featuremind1.com for bonus videos, news, exclusives, links to my other channels, social media links, and much more. Please consider donating as little as $1 to help finance another documentary style video like this. You can sign up on the YouTube membership, Patreon, or directly. All links are in the comment section and description box. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and click your notification bell. This has been another episode of Feature Mind. Thank you for tuning in, signing off.